Hey guys, I'm Paul Laramie. This is 5 Minutes with Paul, only on Right News America, the Truth Network. Now, this is Saturday, February 6th, even though this should be our Halloween show, because we are going to talk about something that's very scary, something that when I read, it gave me tremors. Governor Sisolak of Nevada plans to introduce legislation that would allow technology companies to establish separate local governments within Nevada. So I had to read that 3 or 4 times because it sounded like Steve Sisolak wanted to allow big tech to establish their own governments here in the Silver State. So Steve did push for the creation of so-called innovation zones, right? Now, these innovation zones would reportedly provide ways to bolster the state's economy without the need for corporate tax breaks. Now, Sisolak suggested that the existing local government model is inadequate alone to provide the flexibility and resources that are conducive to making the state a leader in attracting and retaining new forms and types of businesses, fostering economic development and emerging technologies and innovative industries. But if the legislation were to pass, large companies in industries such as blockchain, AI, renewable resources, and others would have the option to create local governments with the same privileges and responsibilities as counties. Now, innovation zones would tangibly form their own county clerk, district attorney's office, sheriff's office, court system, school board, as well as collect taxes, guys. Now, this is crazy. So, tech companies that want to apply for the innovation zone status would require roughly $250 million and have plans to invest at least $1 billion over the next decade. So pretty much they're allowing big tech companies to purchase their own governments in Nevada if they have a certain amount of liquid assets and they're willing to invest a certain amount of money in Nevada with over a certain period. I guess it's $1 billion over the next decade. Okay, they would also require at least 78 square miles of land. Now, applications would reportedly be handled by the Governor's Office of Economic Development, and governance would be passed down to a 3-person board with rules and powers similar to the Clark County Commission. How did that work out for us, guys? The Clark County Commission was a disaster. It seems like that's the best way for Clark County to hide the money from Clark County taxpayers, if you ask me. But I'm getting off subject. This big tech being allowed to establish their own governments, that's very scary here in the state of Nevada. That's the beginning of something that's terrifying. I mean, it's terrifying, guys, that someday you'll have Google police. You'll get a ticket and go to Google court, and you'll have to do whatever Google says. If Google says, hey, you have to sit in jail because you trespassed on, land in Google City or Google Township or whatever it might be, they'll have the ability to set your tax rates. They'll be able to control your school boards. These big tech companies, guys, are going to have the ability to essentially control the areas in which they buy land. If they buy 78 square miles of land, have $250 million in plans to invest at least $1 billion over the next decade, according to this bill, if this bill were to pass, they would be able to establish their own government. They would be able to have their own police, Google police, Amazon police. That's a very scary thought, guys. That's privatized government. That's something that we should never have to deal with as American citizens. The private sector and the public sector are 2 totally different things for a reason. I want you guys to comment below. Let me know what you think about this. If you guys are as terrified as I am, we're going to do another show about this where we have people call in, because I'm sure this story will have updates. I'm with you, people of Nevada, and I hope that this bill does not pass. We do not need big tech in charge of our government. We do not need big tech in charge of our sheriff's offices, our court systems, our school boards, establishing county clerk offices, or collecting taxes. Well, that's all the time I got, guys. That was 5 minutes with Paul. I hope you guys got the information quickly, understand what we're up against. Make sure you guys tune in next time to 5 Minutes with Paul, only here on Right News America, the Truth Network. See you next time.